6:17 on a Monday night, and Jamie's like, I don't give a rip. It's my birthday. It's just another freaking day. Like, can we knock it off already? I'm going to work. And not that like we love her and like it's a special day for, but like it's not that serious. Some people take like weekend birthdays, week-long birthdays, and it blows my mind. And most of those people are damn broke. Like I can't even. So Jamie, thank you for
it in. We fit it
right.
in. We fit it in, right?
Fit it in, right? It's just another
not
day.
On a Monday, for God's sakes. We got things to do.
We got things to do. So Mike, I'm jacked because Jamie, how many hours legit? And not that y'all should do this because she's on the phone all day with new agents, existing agents, dealing with all kinds of shit. How many hours a week were you on the phone last year last week to write $7,000? Like, honestly.
Yeah. I looked on my phone because that's kind of the best way to see how, you track stuff. And then obviously if I was using a dial tracker, which I should have been. But for me, I was just using my phone, just trying to see like, all right, how many dials did I make and how many hours? It was about 7 hours total. It was like 6 hours and 45 minutes total.
Total. That's including the sales.
That's including it was 8 apps for 8,100. Yeah. Actually,
wow.
You know what? I take that back because I forgot I sat on the phone with that lady that one night.
Yeah, that was an hour and a half.
Yeah, so hour and a half to 6:45. So that was 8 hours and 15 minutes. My bad. Okay. I forgot about her.
Now look, y'all are new. If you're new, like she's been doing this for 13 years. She hasn't sold in forever. In fact, she never really sold, but she's heard and spoke this language for 13 years. And she's great on the phones. Her confidence is high. So I'm not telling you can do what she did in 8 hours. But what I'm telling you is if she can do what she did in 8 hours, you certainly can do that in 40. And if you do 8,000 every week, you're not struggling financially. I promise you. You have no lead problems. You have no mortgage problems. You have no car payment problems. You have no food problems. You have no baby mama drama problems. You have no problems with money. When it comes to money, you might have problems because she might be crazy, but it ain't going to be because of money. So I'm excited to hear what you got to say. And the VSA leads are fire. I know some of y'all tried them. You didn't do it right. I'm sorry to tell you, you let them sit too long. Like you have to call them pretty much right away. That's the way the lead is designed to work. And this is a microwave society. People are impatient. When they want the information, they want it now. So if they fill out a questionnaire and then they don't hear from you in 24 hours, probably even closer to 10, they're moving on. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Jaime, and I'm going to shut the hell up and let you rip, but I'm excited.
Hey, one thing I want to throw out there, Jaime bought the cheaper telesales leads, not the 27. She bought the 14. So she bought the cheaper ones with less date on them.
Well, the only difference really in the two, Mike, is that the more expensive ones are localized. You can get them in a tighter area.
There's two telesales. She bought
there's two telesales leads.
Yeah.
Oh, hell.
She bought the cheaper telesales leads.
Oh,
yeah. So the difference really, all it is that the other one has a beneficiary on it and this one doesn't. And it also has an address. This one doesn't have that either. Yeah. So the ones I got basically have their name, phone number, what state they're in, and what the amount is that they're requesting. The other ones have address and all the other stuff. So yeah. Well, you kind of teed me up. I mean, I was just going to kind of go over those numbers and obviously some other stuff here, but I'm going to tell you guys where to find all the resources in order to make all these, to piece all this stuff together. I was determined last year to make sure that in 2023, I was going to get this telesale thing down. And to be able to do things like this, to train people on exactly how it is that we do it. And so that's, I think step one is just make your mind up that you are going to make something happen. There's nothing more powerful than when your mind is made up that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Nothing can come in the way. Nothing can stop you. If you looked at my calendar week over week and saw how many calls that very first week, the same week that we wrote all these, that I wrote all these applications, you would see like how I was literally squeezing it in between windows. So you can't tell me that someone who is just like, that's their only job right now is to maybe recruit and sell, that they can't do the same thing. But there are some things that we need to make sure that we're doing here. First things first is, like Mike talked about a little bit about mindset. As soon as I'm looking at these leads, I'm seeing families. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing the $1,500 that were spent. I'm not seeing the $1,250 for a lead. I'm not seeing any of that. I'm seeing families who need to be protected because if tomorrow they did not wake up, their family would be it would be out of 30,000 or 15,000 or 25,000, whatever it is they put on here that they thought in their mind this thing was going to cost. That's how much their family member will be out of it. And I can tell you, as I'm sitting here today and I've got plenty of money in the bank, I can afford a funeral. If my mom didn't have some protection in place, I'd kind of be annoyed about it because these things are not that expensive. I'm like, dude, she could have just got a little plan together and, you know what I mean, made it, you know, I wouldn't have to come out of pocket for 20 grand, whatever it is. So you can imagine that there's people out there today who are living paycheck to paycheck who do not have the means. You see it on GoFundMe every single day that don't have the means. And they were just hoping that somebody just like you and I who have an insurance license who can help them with the policy today, get peace of mind, stop procrastinating and put it behind them. And so when I look at a lead, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at people who have families at home who don't have the means to help their family and pay for a whole darn funeral and who shouldn't be putting up GoFundMes because these plans are not that expensive. And so when I'm going into this, I mean, my posture is just that, like, here I am, I'm going out here, I'm going to do a job and I'm going to serve people. And I'm passionate about making sure these families are served. And I'm not gonna waver about what I'm saying. I'm not gonna, if they hang up on me, I'm gonna call them back. Like everything else that you're doing right now, I'm doing the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, the gentleman I called, he kept hanging up on me 3 times. Finally, I just shot him a text. I was like, Mr. Steven, this is Jamie with the Final Expense Insurance. Like I don't know if your phone's messed up or what's going on, but I need to get this information to you. I've got 3 times tomorrow. Which one's gonna work best for you? Again, super assumptive. But I'm not letting them just get off the hook by just hanging up on me. That's ridiculous. And I do understand that I'm dealing with, you know, folks that are in, you know, there are most of these, because these are, you know, mostly talking about final expense and burial plans. I am dealing with seniors and things like that, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, some even 80s. I understand that they're probably getting bombarded with phone calls and things like that. I get it. So I'm not going to act like those people. Those people don't hang up and call right back 3 times in a row. They hang up one time and they move on to the next one because they're in a dial center. I'm not like them. I don't sound like them. I sound like a compassionate person who's calling my grandmother, my aunt, somebody who's an elder to me, but they know that I'm calling because they gave me the phone number. And I'm completely aware of that. I'm not confused one bit, and I'm not confused one bit that they basically put the exact amount that they think their funeral is going to cost. And so, so that's my mindset before I even start calling a lead. Now I'm just like everybody else because I haven't been on the phone in probably over a year to set appointments, and I haven't sold a policy in 12 years. And when I did sell a policy, I think I sold 5 total. And then Frank took over the sales part. I still set the appointments, but I haven't done this. I haven't ran an e-application. I might have ran a quote for somebody like by accident, but I haven't went through all these new e-apps. So I'm just like everybody else, just navigating the waters. But I'm not I'm not illiterate when it comes to computers. Like I see where it says start e-app here, just click the button. And like they ask me if they smoke or not. I'm like, yes or no. You know, like I'm moving through it, but I'm moving through it as if I've already been there. I've already been there, done that. Even though I hadn't, I'm already, you know, like I'm moving through it as if it's part of the day. And so the script, so everybody can write this down so you can find what I'm talking about. A few things that I have prepared on my computer before I start dialing is I have my script out. The script is right on the agent hub. You can find it in the script section, phone script section. It's the one that says one call closed with face amount. That's the one we're going to use because we have the face amount they're requesting, and this works really, really well with that. I have it literally sitting out here. And I also on my computer, I have in the telesale resource section of the agent hub on my tab on here on my computer, which actually I can screen share. I can share this with you guys. This is what I have up on my screen. So I've got this screen up as well as on a tab, and it has all the carriers that I write with, and it has the link to get right to their e-app. It has a link to get right to their quote. So I'm not fumbling and stumbling around trying to figure out where do I find a quote and edit it. Nope, it's already up. I also automatically have up my Americo, how to do an e-app and how to do a quote with them. I have up Prosperity, on how to do their quoting in e-app. I have up Aetna as well, and I have up AIG. So I have those 4 up on the tabs at the top here, all ready to go. So as I'm talking to people, I'm ready and prepared. I'm not like stumbling around trying to find that, you know, trying to find the quoting software and, oh, it didn't work. I'm logged in. I'm ready to go. Like I'm assuming that every person I talk to, I'm going through the whole presentation, I'm writing an app with them today. There's nothing in my mind that's not going to tell me that. And so I'm completely ready to go. Okay. So that's what I have. All of these obviously are on our agent hub. If you need some help, just let us know. But I have all of these up and ready to rip. Also on that telesale carrier list, it tells me how they accept a signature. That's very important because as I'm going through this process with these people, I need to understand and be aware of how it is, the easiest way how it is for them to sign an application. The easiest by far is Americo and Aetna. Americo takes a text message as a signature, and Aetna takes the mother's maiden name as a signature. So if I can go through those two, because it seems like it's going to be a slam dunk with them getting approved, then that's where I'm going to go. Prosperity, on the other hand, they're the ones that take that Direct Express benefits card. So I know that I can't go to the other ones. That's why I got to go to that one. And then AIG is obviously going to be for my folks who have, some health challenges, maybe AIDS, cancer right now, those types of things. So I need that up and ready to go too. So I'm fully prepared and ready to go for pretty much 95% of the people that I'm going to be talking to. And they're going to be able to fit right here in this little honey hole. But I need to know how they accept signatures so I can sound like I'm intelligent and have been there before. So again, this is like a reoccurring thing. Everything I say to these people, this sounds like I've been doing it for years. I hadn't never ran an AIG application, or I didn't run an application before last week. So I'm just like all of you. Okay. Now, again, I have been seeing this stuff for 12, 13 years. So I don't not know, but I never did it myself. Okay. So that's that. Then obviously I'm ready to go. Just like everybody else, I'm hand dialing. I'm not using any fancy dialing systems. I don't have these uploaded anywhere. I'm literally using my cell phone to call these leads, and I'm calling them the same way that everybody else is calling leads. I'm letting it ring the first time through all the way to their voicemail so I can hear what they say. I type on my little spreadsheet here. If the name, one of the names here was Nene, but on here it did not say Nene. I was like, do I even call him Nene? Her name was Grania, but her voicemail said Nene. Best believe I got Nene right here, because when she answers that phone, she's Nene to me. So I'm calling them whatever it is that they sound like, that they said that their name was. When I'm calling these people, again, I'm super casual. The very first section of this script, and if you have it in front of you or what have you, as a matter of fact, I can put this up on the screen too, so you can see what I'm looking at. But when I'm using this script, I'm not kidding when it says read this verbatim. I've tweaked this probably 12 times with Josh Christ, and it literally, you just read it verbatim. Now that doesn't mean that you don't have to sound decent, right? But that means that you can literally read this and this works. So as soon as they answer, I'm like, Frank, hey Frank, this is Jaime Eufemia with the My Affordable Burial Plan on a recorded line. I'm just reaching out to you in reference to the online inquiry you had made on one of our websites about the final expense insurance. And I'm just a licensed agent here in Maryland, assigned to give you a hand with this. Now, Mr. Frank, I see here that you were inquiring about $15,000 worth of protection. How did you come up with that number?
I don't know. That's what a funeral costs, ain't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So, Mr. Frank, God forbid something happens to you tomorrow. Who's going to be receiving all this money?
Probably my daughter.
Your daughter. Okay, fair enough. And your daughter, have you spoken to her about if you wanted to be buried or cremated?
Oh, she knows how I want to go.
Oh yeah. All right. So how is that?
Just want to be laid out and then throw a big party and burn me up.
Okay. All right. So you want to be the traditional, viewing and things like that, but then obviously you want to be cremated. So we don't need to get, all this to put you in the ground and all that good stuff, right?
I don't think so.
All right. Okay. I like it. So I'm glad you've already talked to her about all of this. So that way she knows exactly what you want your affairs to be. And she'll be the one that's handling like the funds and all that stuff with the funeral, right?
Yep.
Okay. So time out. So it says that right here. Reiterate what they said and dig deeper. Do you see how he just said he was real like lackadaisical about what he wanted? And I want to reiterate what it is he just said, because I need him to see the big party, him being burned and not be put in the ground. This is like the why that people talk about when they're doing this business. And he said it, but he might not have heard himself. So when I'm saying it to him, now he can hear it. We hear it differently when we're saying it ourselves, because it's not we hear our voice differently. So I'm literally reiterating. Now, he was vague, and I needed to know, does his daughter know that he wants to be buried or cremated? I need to dig a little bit deeper, because that's two different costs, right? That's, you know, from 10,000 or 20,000. So I need to know, is the number that he's telling me, is he on point, or is that not enough, or is that way too much? If he tells me he just wants to be cremated and he's got on here 30,000, I'm like, all right, so if you just want to be cremated and have like a regular viewing and things like that, we're looking at between 10 and 12,000. So what are you going to do with the rest of the money? I want to know where he's allocating the rest of these funds to. Oh, well, I thought I could probably leave her a little bit, and I got a couple grandkids. Okay, so you want to leave your daughter some, and how many grandkids do you have? The other day, somebody said to me,
oh, geez.
The other day, I'm not kidding, he wanted to leave some money to his kids. And if you all were on the dials with me, you heard it for yourself, because I do this live. He's like, oh, I got 16 kids. Well, I lost it. I was like, what? You got 16? Oh, Lord, you must have been busy. And so now we're having fun with it. He feels comfortable with me. He's laughing. I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, that's not even a lot. My friend has 26. I said, good Lord, what are you running with? You're running with some busy people. And now we're both laughing. We're chuckling up. We feel comfortable. He feels comfortable with me because I'm relatable. Okay. So this is who we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who are just like you and I. We don't have to feel like we're all professional with them and trying to, you know, make it seem like, you know, this is a prim and proper thing. No, we're talking about death. That's not very fun to talk about. But if we can kind of lighten the mood, then it makes them feel more comfortable to talk to us about the rest of the stuff, which is going to be their social security number, their bank account, things like this. Okay. All right. So that's page 1. I would suggest for anybody getting started, just read over page 1, 5, 6, 7, 10 times. So you have page 1 down, at least that very first part until you get to so I see here you were inquiring about $15,000 in coverage. How'd you come up with that number? Rehearse that beginning part over and over and over again, so it just sounds fluently coming out, because you only got about 5 seconds to grab them, so you don't sound like a telemarketer, you don't sound like a salesperson, and don't hang up on you. So make sure you have that piece memorized. The rest you can read as you go along, literally. I promise you, because I do it every single time. Okay, so we dig deeper. We understand this picture is now being painted of his daughter taking care of all his affairs and his funeral. He wants a party. He wants a viewing. Then he wants to be buried. We're done. We're over with. We got this thing covered. Okay. So now we transition into letting them know how this thing's going to work. So Frank, listen, it's pretty simple. We're going to find you the best price burial insurance plan with an A-rated company or better, with the best price for your situation. Okay. So I'm on the medical side of things. And what I'm going to do for you is ask you a comprehensive series of health questions and lifestyle questions. And then what that does is give me the ability to isolate the carrier that's going to give you the best rate. So then once we figure that part out, then we'll show you how to apply. It's usually by like voice, signature, or e-app via email. And sometimes it's even just a text message, but then we'll pick which plan is going to be best for you to get started. Make sense?
Yeah.
So I just laid out how this thing's going to work. There's not a question about how we are going to do things. We're going to find the plan, isolate the carrier, show you how to apply. That's it. We're going on to page 2. You literally just saw me read this, right? I sounded natural. I sounded casual, like you and I were just talking. I didn't sound like I was in a sales position. I didn't sound like I was nervous, or I just read the paper. That's it. Read it verbatim. Okay. Now we move on to page 2, which is how we qualify them. So, hey, Frank, so it's just going to be a quick couple of questions for you here just to see your qualifications. It's just a quick yes or no. Okay. Now, Mr. Frank, do you have a valid driver's license or state ID?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then do you bank with a valid checking account or a valid Direct Express benefits card?
I have a checking account.
Oh, cool. Okay. And then, are you between the ages of 50 and 89?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So great. So it looks like you are eligible. I'll just kind of tell you quickly, there's about 12 different programs that you might qualify, and there's 3 different tiers of how this stuff works. You probably already know this stuff, but I'm just going to go over it with you quick, just so in case I cover all my bases. Again, I'm just making them feel comfortable. I make them feel smart. They already probably know, but I'm just going to cover it for them anyway. And then I literally read the tiers. All this is really doing is just letting them know, like, there's a level benefit and modified sometimes if their health. At this point in time, they're usually saying, oh, I'm definitely going to be tier 1, or, oh, no, I'll be tier 2. I've got some health stuff going on. They're kind of jumping in here, and I'm just going to keep reading through it because I don't need them to interrupt and mess up my flow. Okay. Now, on page 8 of this is the actual worksheet that we're writing on these questions here that we're about to ask. So that we need to print off a bunch of these. Every day when I was doing these dials, and I usually only had like an hour and a half window each time, I printed off 5 of these, and my goal was to fill out 5 of these every single time. So I don't know what your goal is. If you have all day, your goal should be to fill out 10 of these suckers every single dial day. You fill out 10, you're probably gonna help 2 or 3.
If you
Like,
did
shake your head
5 in an
no.
hour and a half, I think they should do 15 to 20. I
Okay.
mean, let's not sugarcoat that. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Now, okay. So next section. So 15. And you can get on my calendar. We can go over this together, but you need to set a goal and make sure that you make sure that this happens.
Jamie, what was
Okay.
that last sentence in the last page? I didn't get to read that.
The best thing about this program is no one can be denied regardless of health.
Okay. I started to read it and then you left it. I like that.
Okay. Because really, they answer those questions above. They're between ages 50 and 89. And even if they have some health challenges, we can usually get them AIG or Great Western. Okay. All right. So now, in order to isolate the absolute best program for you, Frank, each program, like I said, is based on health and lifestyle. So I just need to ask you a few more questions that are kind of based on that. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then I just go down these questions, and they tell me everything. They tell me what their medicines are, what their birthday is, how height and weight, all the goodies. They smoke or not, everything. And based on this information, because I've been doing it for a while, I know what they're going to qualify for, which company. But if you're brand new, you're on live dials, you might need to ask somebody on live dials, or you can call the hotline. Essentially, once I get down here, I say, all right, so our system's trying to figure out which company is going to be best for you, like I mentioned, and see which one you're going to be eligible for. At that point in time, you can ask them to hold for a second. You can push mute. You can ask on the live dials. You can call in the hotline, or you can text the manager, whatever your easiest way is. But there's tons of resources in the beginning to figure out what's going to be best. I also recommend having up the final expense cheat sheet on your window here too, which is also in the download section on the Agent Hub. Okay, because in there you can hit Control F, and I can type in cancer. It's going to tell me everybody who takes cancer and how long they've had it for. So you can have that resource up as well. There is the insurance toolkits or whatever, but it's a monthly subscription. So if you're just getting started, you might not want to do it, but that is also available too. I don't use it because I already know kind of where to write things. So at this point in time, now I'm going through and figuring out who's going to give this person the best price with what their scenario looks like. And again, I already have them up on here, so I'm writing them down on that sheet at the bottom. Bronze, gold, da 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 da. Now, if they tell me that they want 15,000, I'm going to make that one the middle one. So I'm going to make that the silver. Okay. So I'm going to show them 18, 15, 13, or 12. So that's kind of how I pick the gold, silver, and bronze. If they tell me, that they wanted 30,000, but they only wanted to be cremated and they just weren't sure, then I might not show them all that, because I would rather them put something in place that's affordable and that will stay on the books than just giving them a number that they were just throwing out here that sounded good. And I'm going to break that down for them and go over that with them. And that's why I also asked, like, they want to be buried or cremated, and who's going to get the rest of the money outside of, that amount they want. Okay. So again, I'm reading this verbatim again. All right. So as the system's populating the best program available to you, just important for you to know these few things. Now, here are the guarantees with your plan. Your death benefit is guaranteed to never go down. And I say these really slow like this. Your premium is guaranteed to never go up. And the death benefit to your beneficiary, which you probably already knew, is tax-free, just so you know that. And they usually say, oh, no, I didn't know that. Yep, it's tax-free. So your daughter's not going to pay any taxes on this big lump sum of money that she's going to receive, okay? Now, Frank, just so you know, 9 out of 10 of my clients are either retired or disabled. All that really means is everyone's usually on a fixed income. So the last thing that we recommend is you spending more than you can afford. So I'm going to give you a few options, and I just want you to grab a pen and paper and just write down gold, silver, and bronze.
Okay.
Guys, it literally says this right here. But do you see how I'm saying it? I'm giving them direction. I sound very sure of myself. I'm very assumptive that this is all, we're moving forward with this. There, you know, like there's no question about it. Now, once I figured out which company I'm going to go with, and I'm giving them these 3 plans, okay, I say this to them every single time. I did not say this the first probably 25 calls, but again, we tweaked this and dialed it in really well. So Frank, just so you know, I've gotten quotes and narrowed this down from at least 6 of our best price A-rated carriers. I'm sure you've heard companies before like Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, AIG, Liberty Bankers. You've heard of companies like this before. So this one is beating all of them. I'm saying that because I don't need them to tell me now that they're going to shop it out. Like I'm telling them right now, we just shopped it out and this is beating all of them. I might even say like, oh, cool. Well, it's only beating them by $3, but $3 is $3. I don't care. You slice it. And they're like, oh my God. Yes. Thank you. They're appreciative that I'm telling like we're getting it knocked out today, putting it behind us, peace of mind.
Jamie,
So
just because I know somebody's thinking it, if you're writing Mutual of Omaha, do you replace them with another company?
What?
If you're writing Mutual of Omaha, and that
Yes.
last statement you make,
Yeah.
I know somebody's thinking it.
Yeah. So obviously don't say the company you're using, but I will tell you this right now. Mutual of Omaha is one of the most difficult ones to do a telesale with. So that would not be my very first look ever, because it's very difficult to get the client to sign via telesale. There's like 5 emails that go out to them. Then the docs pops up. It's a nightmare. That's what took me 1 hour and 45 minutes with that lady that night. And it's just a hectic. So that's why we're going to probably always say Mutual of Omaha. I mean, if they get it right, then cool. We'll use them more often. Okay. All right. So then we give them these 3 plans. And then I move right on to the next section. Now, Frank, like I was saying before, unfortunately, I don't get to make the final decision about this stuff. The insurance company does that. So what we're going to do is submit your application to the home office to see if you can even qualify. And then if you're able to qualify, we're going to basically pick one of these options and you're going to pick a date when you want this thing to start. Okay. So we're going to just take a quick application and then we'll see, you know, where we're at with the whole, with which one makes most sense to you. Now, once we figure out if you get approved and you pick the date, 5 to 7 days, 7 to 10 business days, you're going to actually receive the actual policy in the mail sent to your house. Okay. So you're going to get a full thing, but today I'm going to email you all the details once we get you approved and stuff like that. So at least, God forbid, something happens to you the day after you make your first payment, your family knows to call me and I can help them process the paperwork. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, this part is super important again, because when you go to do an EAP with these carriers, they don't ask the questions in this order. That's why I highlighted this. Ask the questions in this order, no matter what. They might ask for the social security number in the very second question. We're not asking for the social security number in the very second question. That's a surefire way for them to get cold feet and start backpedaling in a hurry. You need to ask all of these other questions first and fill them in. I even like putting a lot of this stuff down on my little sheet here in case I have to jump to another application, right? And then I don't have to re-ask all the information because I have it here in front of me already. So I'm asking them, you know, how they spell their full name, what their address is. I got their date of birth, but I'm going to repeat it again. And your date of birth was January 7th, 1977. And this phone number I'm calling you on, is this the best phone number for you? Yep. All right. And your email address? And how about your driver's license? Now you said you want your daughter to do all of your affairs. And what's your daughter's name? See, I'm going right through it, just very assumptive. Like, and I'm not saying, so now I need your daughter's name. No, it's like, and you said your daughter was going to get all these funds. So what's her name? It's super casual. And I'm shaking my head. Yes, almost everything that I do. I don't know if you're picking up on that, but I'm subliminally giving them the yeses. All right. Now, the last thing that we're going to ask them for is going to be their social. And that's usually in this first section because we got to pull their hip up. Okay. And I just let them know when we get to that part. All right. So, as you know, all insurance applications, they got to pull what they call your medical information bureau check and your prescription check for life insurance. Just obviously make sure that you are who you say you are, and that everything that you told me and what I put on the application is actually valid. And then essentially this will let us know kind of where we got to go and shift wise as far as if you're going to get approved or not. So Frank, what's your social?
777777777.
Okay. So it's very point blank, and then I'm quiet. Sometimes they're quiet because they're nervous to give it to me, but I just stay quiet. And then they give it to me. That awkward silence for about 4 seconds, they give it to you. Now, if they say, oh, I don't do that, I'm like, okay, no worries. Now, you remember when you got your car insurance? Remember how they had to pull like your driving record and your social and all that good stuff? Yeah. So this is almost exactly the same way. Except we don't pull your driving record. We're pulling your health record and your prescription record. So just like all insurances, we just need your social. That's all. So what's your social, Frank? Now, I also sometimes say, and they also want to make sure that strangers aren't taking policies out on strangers. That could kind of get weird. So anyway, Frank, what's your social? And I'm just waiting. So I'll make them feel comfortable. Now, if they're just still adamant, I'm like, all right, do you FaceTime? Like, yeah. Why do we FaceTime? Well, just so you know that I'm a real person. I can send you my credentials and stuff like that via email or text it to you right now to show you I'm a licensed agent through the state. I'm like, oh, okay. And usually like, that's fine. It's fine. I just gave you my social. Okay. Okay. So I've only had one person want to look up my license out of all the 8 applications. Everybody else, I did exactly this way and they gave it to me. Okay. All right. So once there's a couple of the objection stuff is here, like I just talked about. Now we go through all the health questions. Now I ask them, obviously, which one makes the most sense for them and their family. Was it going to be the 20, the 15, or the 13? And then they tell me which one they want. I just say which one's going to make the most sense for your family, the 20, the 13, the 20, the 15, or the 13. They tell me which one they want. Now let's jump a little bit to the banking section. Now, when we get to the banking section, I say, all right, so what day of the month did you want this thing to start? Oh, I guess it's going to have to start like on the 3rd because that's when I get my my Social Security check. Okay, no problem. I got somebody writing on here. Dr. Val.
How did that happen?
I think she's trying to scroll. I don't know. I guess I have no worries. Anyway, it's not hurting anything. So I say to them, they ask them what date they want, and then I say, perfect. Now, you said you bank with a checking account. Which company or which bank do you bank with? And let's
Bank of America.
Bank of America. Okay, perfect. We work with them. That's my next statement. Okay, perfect. We work with them. Hang tight. All right, so I go over to Google and I do Bank of America routing number in Maryland. Bam. I type really bad. So usually it's one of the first things that come up, and here it is right here. So then I say to them, okay, awesome. Can you go ahead and either grab like a voided check or wherever you keep your account number? I need to verify the routing number with you. And I tell them the routing number. I said, all right, so it's 026009593. Is that right? Yep, that's right. Okay, perfect. And then what's your account number? And then they just give me their account number. So it's kind of like a give and take thing, right? I'm giving them that like they're like everybody else. I deal with this all the time. Okay. And so let me go back to my little thingy here. I wish I could see it, but now I can't. I'm sorry. There it is. So then we're basically waiting for an approval or not. And I basically, once we've gone through all the health questions and everything else, so I'm like, all right, just give us a second. Let's see if we get the green light here. Or if not, if we get a yellow light, we might have to take you somewhere else. We get a red light, we'll definitely have to take you somewhere else. So let's just see what we get. And I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for the little thing to spin around to tell me an approval. So once I get an approval, I'm like, oh, awesome, you're approved. Okay, perfect. So so here's what we're gonna do, Mr. Frank. I have your email address. Would you like to write all the information down, or would you rather me just email it over to you? That way you have all my contact information. They usually say just email it. Yep, they usually say email it. One even has said, you know what, you could just text it to me. That'd be great, so I could save it right here on my phone. Perfect. About the signature stuff. Like, most of this is easy, but like, who did I have to do? Oh, I had to do a royal neighbor since the guy was on gabapentin and he was diabetic. And so I had to do a phone interview with that one. So when it's time to do the signature stuff, I just tell him, now remember how we had to do, remember I said about the signature? So this one here is going to take a voice signature. So basically I just got a 3-way, call the number in, use this little verification code. And you're just going to answer the questions, the health questions, exactly the way you answered them with me, which you said, no, 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 no. Remember?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So when I get her on the phone, you're just going to answer it the exact same way. Make sense, Frank?
Yep.
I'm coaching them on this because I don't need them like to start saying all kinds of stuff when I just need no, 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 just like they just told me. Or I'm just say, now remember you said yes to the COPD. So when she asked you about that, you just say yes to that one, but the rest was no, 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 no. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So then I just get them on a 3-way with whoever it is that I had to do the voice signature with. If it's a text signature, I'm just telling them, all right, you see that text message you just got on your cell phone? Okay, perfect. Go ahead and read that number back to me. See, it's all super assumptive. Like, go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and do this. We just need to go ahead and pick that out. We're going to go ahead and select a date. So it's like super, like, you know, and it's super nonchalant. I'm small talking with them through the whole time. We're cutting up and laughing about different things. Like, if they say something that's even remotely funny, I'm gonna kind of bring that back up a couple more times. Like the one lady had she was staying at her niece's house and her niece was going to be the beneficiary. Her niece got on the phone. We were all on speakerphone. She's like, yeah, I got like a senior home here. I got my aunt living here, my mom living here, all these 70-year-olds. All I'm thinking was, I'm getting me some more applications. But I'm like, ooh, you definitely got a senior house in that household. And so we're laughing and we're just making each other feel comfortable. I'm making them feel comfortable that they want to do business with me. Almost every person, at least all the females, at least that I spoke to, they're like, oh my God, can we do coffee? Can we meet up for lunch when you're in the area? Like you just need to make people feel comfortable. Make them feel like they want to do business with you. Like they were their grandmother, your aunt, your best friend's aunt, just normal people. And that's pretty much how we do it. Now, with the telesales, there's going to be a lot of follow-ups. I have probably about 14 people I have to follow up with, meaning like they were at work or they were driving or da, da, da. So you have to kind of keep your flow, keep organized, right? I just keep putting people on my calendar when I have to do it. So stay organized with this stuff. With your follow-ups, but I 2 of them were on follow-ups. 2 applications were from follow-ups, or they were at the doctor's office or whatever, and I call them back a little later to take care of it. So that's pretty much how we do it. Any questions?
Yeah. How many leads did you get?
So, okay, I got 125 leads, and of those leads, thank you. Of those leads, 10 of them had like bad numbers or a wrong state type of thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
But they replaced them. So yeah.
Okay. So if I'm brand new,
Mm-hmm.
how many do you think I should get for my first dial session? Because I wouldn't get like, do you think also, if we're doing telesales and it's important we contact them really fast,
Mm-hmm.
do you recommend getting like I don't know, 50 each day or 30 each day, and then calling them each day? How do you recommend doing that?
Yeah, I mean, the faster you can call them, the better. 24 to 48 hours is really the magic number there.
Okay.
So I think I think this isn't a cookie cutter thing, because we got to talk a little bit about what you got as far as an investment goes. We might start you off on, some 1 month, 3 month internet leads. You can still use the same script to kind of get this flow down and sound this way that we're talking about tonight. And then maybe we, do your first order of, I don't know, 50, you know what I mean? And then, still supplement with the other stuff. But, but if you have the investment to get 125 and you sound decent on the phone, then yeah.
Well, that's really what I was getting at. Like if y'all are going, well, I don't have, how much are these leads, by the way? You got the cheaper ones.
I got the ones that if you buy, like, I think in abundance of like 70 or more, you can get them for $12.50. Other than that, they're $14.
Okay. So if you're going, well, I don't have, 14 times 50, I don't have $750 to spend. I have 500 or 400, whatever. Like, you can get 25 of these and supplement with the others and then build
The
it up.
minimum order is 40.
Minimum order is 40. Then get your minimum order and then you build it up. You make a sale, you buy 100 right away. Like, that's how this works. We didn't come out the gate buying brand new good leads. We came out the gate calling penny. Remember, we called penny leads. They were like 10 cents or something.
Yeah.
It was essentially just raw data, but we had to do what we had to do. So also, so if you want to do, let's say the normal full-time agent FFL, 10 grand a week submit, that would be what, 150 leads a week?
I mean, honestly, I truly believe that I could do 10,000 out of this. Just because of the time purposes of the lack of time that I had to do the follow-ups and to call these right away and things like that. I think 125, I could do 10 grand with no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I know that, like, I've been asking VS, like, I want these on reoccurring lead orders, so people don't have to think about it.
He's working on that. He's definitely working on that.
So if that's the case, because if you could do reoccurring and maybe you could do it every 3 days, what would that look like? Like, can you build me a lead strategy for that?
Well, you can just set up for the 120. You can set it up to do, 120 or 150 leads for the week. They don't all come in right away. Like, so like, I mean, let me see how many came in today. Cause he must've got me a new spreadsheet. I don't have it in front of me, but, like, I set it up over the weekend for it to start because I want to call tomorrow. And so I wanted just some fresh ones, but I didn't I got 70. My lead order didn't.
So they don't all, that's what I didn't know if, so they'll come in throughout, if you get 125 of them, they'll come in out throughout the week.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yep. I remember, and guys, I don't want you, like Jamie said a few things that's like that script is stupid easy. I mean, first of all, I could teach my 14-year-old could come in and do this tomorrow. But the silence, some of the aspects of what she does, if y'all didn't pick up on. So I was sitting there listening to her talk to that lady for an hour and 15 minutes. And she was like, do you have your checking account number? She was like, I don't have that. And I don't know where it's at. Can I just get it to you tomorrow? And Jamie just ignored her, like almost as if she didn't say a word, and sat there. And I'm like, because we were trying to, actually, we had my niece, right? My great niece. And she wasn't gonna be there long. I was like, would you hurry up? Like, and she's like, I'm like, just tell her you'll call tomorrow. She's like, shh. So she sat there for probably about 15 seconds. Then a lady was like, oh, wait a minute, I have it right here. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So that silence works, and it's uncomfortable as hell. I can promise you it's uncomfortable. But if you just utilize that stuff, these small little strategies, whoever talks first loses. That's typically how that goes. So if she said, can you just call me tomorrow? And Jamie waited 5 seconds, was like, okay, she waited it out, literally waited it out. And it felt like an eternity because I was sitting there laughing.
I was like,
when she said,
Joanne. I was like, don't say anything, watch. And it literally, she said, okay, here it is.
Yep, you did too. You're like, wait, watch. I was like, listen to this. I'm getting schooled by the teacher is now the student. But it's amazing how that stuff works. So guys, the small little things, Mike has this recorded. If I were y'all, I would listen to this thing 50 times over the next week. And you should be able to repeat this entire training word for word in the next 3 to 4 days. Because if you can get it down like that, anybody can do what she's did last week. I have no doubt about it. So that was awesome. I can't even imagine how we can't double just if people start implementing this 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have any questions?
No, I think I wish more people were on last week, because again, if everyone would get in that dial room, Jamie did all this live and you could
Yep.
actually watch her close. I could hear her on the other side of the wall. So I think going forward, let's be very intentional about getting more people into the dial room. It's definitely helping. Jamie bought another batch of leads, so everyone has an opportunity to hear this live while it's going on. And I agree with Frank. There's no reason why we can't double with the group that we have. We got a lot of people that are, in that $5,000-$10,000 range where those numbers can double, triple immediately just by implementing what we did tonight.
Small stuff, right? Small
That's
stuff,
it.
Mike. And Jamie,
That's
if
it.
you could, and I'm not saying you should get on just because Jamie's getting on, but maybe send a text out and let people know that you're about to start dialing. But y'all should be in, if you're selling, you should be in that live dial room every day, all day, if you're selling. But I think it's helpful to, like, maybe if people are on the road driving to appointments and they're in between appointments and they know you're on the phone, they'll hop on and listen, because I think it's priceless.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll be
Jamie,
in there tomorrow, definitely doing this. So
next
Perfect.
time, can you, a couple times, can you just hit the record button and record some of those sales and we could save them? And then
okay.
maybe we could, let's get someone to edit out the social or anything.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
for sure.
We should do that.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Everyone make it a great night. Builders, we'll see you Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Everyone make it a great night.
Happy birthday, Jamie.